Hey there, friends, and welcome back to another 3-Minute Thoughts. My name is Derek, and in the next 3 minutes, we're going to take a look at Judges chapter 6 and 7. This will be Gideon's call and victory. So in chapter 6, we find Gideon, who is, we'll call him a reluctant warrior. So once again, Israel falls into a state of idolatry, worshiping gods that are not God. And then God allows the Midianites, a neighboring nation, to oppress them for 7 years. The Midianites are going to raid Israel's land. They're going to leave them in poverty. Israel finally cries out to God, and he sends a prophet to remind them of their unfaithfulness. Here we find that God calls Gideon, a young man from the weakest clan in Manasseh, calling him a mighty warrior, even though he's hiding in a winepress to thresh wheat. Gideon is doubtful, questioning why God has abandoned Israel. But God assures him, "I will be with you." That's going to be a constant theme throughout the Old Testament, just in case you were curious. Still unsure, Gideon is going to ask for a sign. So God miraculously consumes his offering with fire. That night, Gideon takes his first step of faith. He tears down his father's altar to Baal and builds an altar to the Lord. The townspeople want to kill him, but his father defends him, saying, "If Baal is God, let him defend himself." To confirm all of this in God's calling, Gideon asks for more signs. This is the whole fleece and dew and all the things, right? He lays out fleece and he asks God to make it wet with dew while the ground stays dry, and God does it. And then just to make sure he didn't mess things up, he asks him to do the reverse, and he does the same thing. God patiently answers both requests. Then as we transition into chapter 7, this is Gideon's unlikely victory. Gideon's going to gather 32 men to fight Midian. He thinks he's building a strong empire, but God says you have too many men. The point is that if Gideon takes that many men, Gideon is going to think that he and his men did this. And so God needs to whittle this thing down to a very, very small number. At first, 22,000 leave because they're afraid, and then another 9,700 are sent home because they didn't drink water in a very specific way, leaving Gideon with only 300 men. And so Gideon's going to lead his 300 men, armed only with trumpets, jars, and torches, and they're going to defeat the Midianites. At midnight, they blow their trumpets, they break their jars, and they shout, creating massive chaos. The Midianites panic, and they start to turn on each other, thinking that there are far more people there than there really are. In the end, if we look at all this and put it together, God chooses the weak and works through some pretty amazingly small means to accomplish his tasks. In the end, victory belongs to the Lord, not because of our strength. That's it for today. Be well, friends.